This is K16 Mulholland. I am Jeremy, keeper of arcane lore, and we play Call of Cthulhu, a role-playing game filled with cosmic horror, existential dread, and a heaping bucket of hot buttered popcorn with a strange hole at the bottom. Huh. That's weird. Your investigators of the unknown are Brian as Ben.
Wait, I thought it was Brian as Brian.
It's the old switcheroo. Lupine as Rosa.
Hey.
Totally meant to do that.
It wouldn't be Rosa without a mic adjustment.
I definitely meant to do that.
Rosa's on a hot segue to hell.
Segue to hell.
And
Soon
Matt
from the Lovecraft Tapes
as Diego.
Ho-hos, 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 3 ho-hos.
Ho-hos all around,
Ho-hos
baby.
on the
I think
on
there's
the
4
segue
here,
to hell,
sir.
you get complimentary ho-hos.
That's
Oh,
right.
shit. I like that. Well, welcome, players. Tonight, as you know, we will be answering questions regarding the podcast and our recently completed scenario. Spoiler alert, we will discuss all the nitty-gritty details of this adventure. So if you haven't listened yet, and why wouldn't you have, you may want to go back and start at case 1, case 16, tape 1, prologue.
Nope, start all the way back.
Oh,
to
go all the way back.
damn it.
You
Case
know,
1, tape
that's
1.
right.
All right, let me catch up and then I'll be back.
Exactly. Case 16, tape 1, prologue before listening to the rest of this episode. You have been warned.
Get out of here.
I won't tell you twice. Listeners, if you would like to drop us a letter from beyond, please visit lovecrafttapes.com anytime and fill out our contact form. We accept thoughtful criticism, thirsty praise, and even a buy one, get one free voucher at the local froyo. Delicious frozen yogurt. It is the holiday season, so it's froyo. Also pirates. Also, a gentle reminder that if you would like to chat with us in real time, join our Discord server at discord.lovecrafttapes.com today and rejoice as Brian dispenses thumbs up emoji reactions with reckless abandon.
I can't afford nitro.
Yeah, baby. All right. This show is brought to you in part by our generous fans and supporters on patreon.com/Lovecraft Tapes. So thank you to all those folks. I'm going to name them right now because it's due. It's overdue. It's due. So thank you to Jordy Rose, Atulia, Barry Robeson, Brownie Davis, Chris Parker, Elizabeth Grieve, James Mayo, John Scarcella, The Frilled Shark, Little Rowan Plays, Kyle Sherman, Huge Pie, Amanda Power, Jefferson Bell, Eric Zane, Olda Pulkert, Mitch L., Ripley Iwan, Eric Phillips, Malabar 57, Snow, Andrew Petty, Dom Driver, Frank Delventhal, Horse Draper, Luke Corbin, Prophet of Woe, David Winterman, Boston Harbor Horror, Discordian, Stephen Gregory, Liz Moonberry, Robert Jamison, Chainsaw Unicorn, Shelly DM, Captain Vashton, Peter VDB, James Brown, Flix Capacitator, Ruined Ashes, Shane Stoley, Ineptus, I knew I was going to say that one. Ineptus, Astartes, Matthew, Kevin C., Davidia Von Zarevich, Phoenix Black, Oddity, JR, J. Clark, Oritako, Brindle Stubbs, A.E. Jonesy, Marty Dixon, LMF10, Ba Tran, scrolling, Kie, Rolling Boxcars, Ryan Hill, Eric Hansen, Jeffrey Young, Bifford, Reaper Jones, Sean McConnell, Poppy Mama, Rich Pogue, John Caballero, Holden Omans, Justin Levesque, Phil Campbell, Nicholas Hutto, John Konopasek, Mick Cope, Kevin G., Robert Lamb, Jehovah's Thickness, Tomas, Benjamin King, Certain Wizard of Isinglass, Steve L., Matt Sister, literally. Don't forget Cherry, Robert Lutzner, The Great Scott, Jeff Howie, Smegmus Grundlegunge, Jack, Chris Evans, Sarah Wiley, and David Agate. Guys, thanks. Thanks so much.
Yes, thank you.
For everything that you've done for us. Appreciate that. Keeping us afloat.
My favorite patron is Scrolling.
Mm-hmm.
So nice. Giving.
Scrolling.
That's right. They're a giver.
Scrolling.
They're a grower. No, they're a giver, not a shiver.
I give her not a shiver. Mhm.
Is that a thing? No. All right. Now, dear investigators,
What?
we recap
Mm.
Case 16, Mulholland.
Okay.
Previously on the Lovecraft Tapes. After the horrors of a mushroom infestation in Las Cruces, the families of Ben and Rosa decided it might be best to ship their kids off to summer camp, along with Rosa's cousin, Diego. The three settled in at Camp Mulholland, but it isn't long before strange happenings plague them with the promise of another mystery. Together, they battle encroaching badness to confront a family of face-sucking cryptids hiding out in the deep, dark California woods. You know, the woods.
The bears.
All right, guys, let's A some friggin' Q's. What do you say?
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, bro.
Let's do it. Let's frig some A's and Q's.
Ow.
FYI, we will be monitoring live chat for any last-minute questions, so
If
feel
you
free to
guys
throw us
act
some
up.
curveballs there, and we'll do our best to take a swing at them.
Don't make us turn this chat around.
That's
That's
right,
right.
baby.
We'll do it.
All right, we're going to start right off the top with a user-submitted question. Some stranger that we don't know named Crocy
Who?
has a
Who?
question for everybody. I thought this might be fun because my answer is going to be succinct. What's everyone's worst/best summer camp experiences?
Oh. This ought to be good. I'll go first.
Yeah.
I've never been to summer camp.
Neither have I.
Yeah! Woo!
The closest I've ever come is being in the Boy Scouts way back when.
You were in the Boy Scouts?
Yeah, I actually got kicked out of the Boy Scouts.
Huh.
I don't remember why, but
Oh, I know why.
it was pretty boring, honestly.
Oh,
But you know, I remember like
he showed not told.
there was something there that we exactly. I was a giver, not a shiver. I remember something about like we had to do something with watermelons, like race watermelons or something.
Oh, okay.
I don't even
You're
remember.
trying to, so they don't crack, maybe,
Dude,
as you're trying to push them?
I don't remember 50 years ago,
Yeah.
dude. I mean, we're talking about half
Why?
a century, so come
Why?
on,
He
give
He
me a
doesn't
break.
remember 50 minutes
Why?
ago, so give him a break.
Exactly.
I have one experience where it wasn't really like a camp, but it was like a day thing while your parents are at work. You'd go to this club and they would take you to the park and they do the different activities. The only reason I remember it is because they were going to have us run through sprinklers in the public park. And they said, okay, everybody take your clothes off and put your swimsuits on in the middle of the park.
Oh.
Yeah, I
It was a different
refused.
time.
I refused. It was a different time, but still, I refused. And I said, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And the guy said no.
Do it now, right in front
So
of me.
I started to walk to the
Don't worry
bathroom.
about the
And they
camera.
called my mom to come pick me up because I was being difficult. And when my
Oh.
mom found out, my mom's a fiery Irish woman. She ripped into that guy. She's like, you don't need to look at little boys change. It was weird. She's like, why couldn't he just go to the bathroom? It's right there.
That's not
it
change.
was
That's a
great.
whole dollar bill right there.
I never went back. Just so you know. That was my camp experience.
Nice. How about you guys, Matt, Lupin? Did you guys go to camp?
Any bathroom incidents?
Yeah. I was trying to. I don't know. Do you want the worst or the best?
Yeah.
Yes.
Both. She wants both.
Okay. So the worst was I guess one time you will so not be surprised, but I went to a lot of like nature camps and we went out like hiking and stuff. And this one time I remember I was at a camp and I was just kind of goofing around, but I was also being me and I definitely went after a squirrel.
Squirrel?
Again, you were not surprised at all. But
Not one bit.
I skinned my knee.
A squirrel?
No, squirrel got away. But I skinned my knee on like gravel, and so I had to like tell the counselor or whatever. And you know, they had to do, and I know they had to do this thing, but I was still really like embarrassed because they made all the other kids get on like the bus and they had to like put gloves on and like put personal protective equipment on and stuff to
You
like.
don't know what kind of bloodborne pathogens you're carrying.
That's
I
true.
know, it's true. Like I knew why they had to do it, but I was still like, can't you just like? And it was really, really bloody. You know how you skin your knee and it's only like this little cut, but it just like bleeds and bleeds and bleeds. So yeah, my
Sounds
entire knee
good.
was covered with blood, and that was fun. So that was probably the worst. And then I guess I don't know. The best was
One time at band camp? No.
this one time at band
You're
camp.
talking about that time you took a dump in the tuba again.
Hey. Yes.
I went to this camp where we got to pretend that we were like a scientific team on the bottom of. I live near Lake Ontario. Here I'm doxing myself, and we got to
Why?
pretend that we were like a scientific team that got to go to the bottom of Lake Ontario and like, in a special, submersible and do all these scientific tests and stuff. And I was like, I don't know, 13. So I thought it was like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, it's
That's
cool.
pretty sweet.
Science is always awesome when you're being led by somebody that makes it fun.
Yeah. It was the coolest thing. And, they had like, you could like pilot the submersible and everyone had their like scientific stations. And, I actually looked at like pond water under a microscope and like put it up on the, on the projector for everyone to see. And we all discussed
That's
it and stuff like
cool.
that. It was very cool.
So no bathing suit changes then?
Yeah, not much. In the
No, not
submersible.
for that one. No, no.
Nice.
Yeah, if
on
there's
the
water,
shore.
you are doing
Just
something
you.
wrong.
It's just you, Brian.
All right, Matt. How about you, bud?
I never went to a summer camp. Closest I ever came to is in high school. I took an AP environmental science course, which everybody takes because one of the perks of that is you get to do a 4-day weekend trip with your classmates up into like the very north tip of the lower peninsula of Michigan.
Just the tip.
Right here.
Yep.
Yeah, right about there actually.
Is that Chiquitis?
Michigan, I can go. Yeah, it's right about there. Yeah, it was with Chiquitis.
Yeah. Great teacher.
And we stayed. Well, while we were there, we stayed in what is normally a summer camp, so that's why this qualifies. But I remember during one of the hikes that we were taking, we were following one of the two teachers that was there. He's like, "Oh yeah, come on, follow me. Check this out." And so a small group of us split off from the main group, thinking, "Oh, the teacher knows where he's going." He didn't know where he was going. We ended up getting lost and wandering around just like state forest land for several hours.
Oh man.
And it wasn't, yeah. And the thing is, it was like it was reclaimed forest land. So it wasn't like regular forest. It was just like perfectly straight rows of trees that just go on forever.
Creepy.
And every now and then there's like an access road.
Yeah.
And so we literally like walked around in the rain and these weird like back access roads in the middle of nowhere and all of these surrounded by all of these trees that weren't fully grown yet, but they were all the exact same size and they were planted in exactly straight rows and exactly straight columns. And
What did they
Awesome.
whisper to you?
they wanted me to change my clothes and put on my bathing suit.
Yeah. What the hell? Jeez.
I
And
knew
they
it.
wouldn't let you go to the bathroom.
Son of a bitch.
Nice. Cool. I hope that answers your question, Crow. Mm-hmm. All right. Next up, Brian. Do you have a question for Lupine?
No, I decided to sit out and
All right. I'll
protest.
mark you off.
No. Okay, this is a question for Rosa through Lupine. In the last scenario, oh, never mind then. No. In the last scenario, has your opinion of adults changed, and if so, how?
Rose's opinion of adults, not Lupine's opinion of adults.
We know
Roses.
Lupines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It ain't changing.
Yeah. No. Rosa, if it's possible, like they were even less help this time than in the last one. They like put the bar even lower. It's like I didn't think it could get worse, but they did.
That'll be real
So-
interesting. Yeah.
We're
See
gonna
how
need
that-
James Cameron to go and raise that bar.
Yeah.
Tell him how
So
it is.
yeah, he needs to go down to the submersible and raise that bar.
submersible.
A submersible that won't implode. Yes.
Yes. Well, James Cameron's won't, at least. So yeah, I think that's kind of a no. Rose's opinion of the adults did not really get any better.
Now, what's Lupine's opinion?
Lupine's opinion didn't get any better either. Grown-ups, ew.
They suck.
They've got
Yes,
cooties.
yes, we do.
Yes, we do. All right, Lupine, you got a question for Matt?
I do. So Matt, during the when you met the creature thing, I was like, oh shit, now Diego's gonna turn against us and be like hostile towards us. And I want to know if you ever had that thought. If it
yeah,
ever crossed your mind.
There was a period in between episodes where I seriously sat and considered if Diego would take that offer seriously, and it was a very close call in consideration for him. It was very, very close to me just saying yes and like running away with her, him, them, they
Yep.
thing.
Yeah.
Mostly because where he was is he was very much just in a I need to get away from everything
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
mood, and that was the ultimate get away free card.
That's what it
Go
was
out and do
preying
it
on
all.
too.
Yeah,
It was preying on that because it knew your background.
like if you want to stick it to your parents and
Excuse me, Mom, Dad, come here a minute.
Stick it in your parents.
I'm a
stick it to
shiver,
your
not a giver.
parents.
Oh, my bad, my bad. Ooh, that was a nice hot red line on my recording.
Well,
a great way to do it is to run off into the middle of nowhere with a giant monster never to be seen again, or
exactly.
maybe be a recurring villain later on in the podcast.
Forever, ever.
Nice. Okay. Matt, do you got a question for me?
I do. So back when we were first introduced to Camp Mulholland, you had a very lengthy list of potential daytime activities that we could engage in. And in the end, we only saw a very small sliver of those. Were there any of the activities that you really wanted us to do because you had something fun or something interesting planned that we just never got to see?
Not really. No, it was really just there to build the flavor for the camp itself, which is why, if you remember at the time, I encouraged you guys to think of other activities that because I only had like a set thing. Thanks, Mama Cryptid. I had like a set things. So I kind of wanted to see if you guys would come up with anything that was like super crazy or super interesting.
Let's be real. All you wanted was us to take our clothes off and put our skins
That's all I wanted was to you to
It's like somebody suggested.
It's funny. I don't think the whole concept of skinny dipping really ever came up as a serious thing. Maybe as a toss away joke here and there. But yeah, I never thought of that. So we tried not to go that way. But no, I don't think there was anything that was set up to be like a clue that was going to eventually lead to a clue. It was more about just trying to see if we could get you guys to build some skills that would possibly help you later on.
Right.
And as a sort of like,
which did nothing.
right. But it was also throwing a bone to Diego to try, to get him to advance a couple skills here and there, like just a couple boosts. I thought might be fun, and just to make it fun, really, so that it felt a little more like a summer camp rather than dig straight into the mystery. I thought that might be fun, and obviously an opportunity for you guys to meet Harcourt and Lindsay and all the rest of the guys to get a feel for what was coming. So, yeah, nothing super crazy. Okay, so my question is for Lupine. Now, Rosa seemed to take an instant dislike to Lindsay, Ben's new love interest, Was that jealousy on Rosa's part or something else?
I think
Yeah, give us the
there-
tea.
there might have been a bit of jealousy, but not because Rosa ever considered Ben romantically. I think more is because Rosa considered, Rosa was friends with Ben, and this was taking time away from their friendship.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly it's because Lindsay seemed so useless.
I don't know.
So
You
useless.
did jump straight to the dislike. I thought. I don't think you ever gave Lindsay a chance.
Yeah, it's possible that there was definitely something about. Yeah, it wasn't so much that Rosa really felt, but Rosa felt like sort of protective of Ben.
Yeah.
Because after
what I
our
got to.
experience with the fungus things, Rosa was very much like, we are the only things, we are the only people that are going to help us.
That can count on each other. Yeah.
Yeah, and so she didn't like that Lindsay was now being let into this club.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And then it turned out that Lindsay was useless.
True. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I was curious as to why Rosa might have been so immediately turned off by Lindsay.
Yeah. I can get that, especially at that age.
But it
when you've
totally makes
shared
sense. Like
something.
you want to protect Ben and
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
And especially after losing Kyle,
Yeah.
like Ben felt like the only thing Rosa had
Makes
And
sense.
that's-
besides her goat.
The deflated goat.
No, the goat's gone too.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Goat, gone too
R.I.P.
Oh
soon.
no. Oh no. Gone
right.
too soon.
Thank you, Lupine. So the next question is from your mother, who asked me essentially,
My mother.
were all the things in the camp related? I think they mean by that were all of the events going on in the camp related. I think that's what that means. I feel like there was a sister thing that we never heard from again. Maybe I'm just forgetting.
Oh.
I thought that was who was doing the slugs and not father mother. Otherwise, did the investigators leave a shambling slug spewing horror to its own devices? So, the things in the camp weren't all related, for sure. I mean, they sort of were, except for maybe the Joseph thing. That was, I sort of wanted to marry those two concepts that, the Joseph spirit thing was essentially kind of a red herring in a way. Sort of covering up this cryptid storyline with father, mother, and brother, sister, Brittany, Brigitte, and Nikki, and then the rock at the bottom of the lake. So those were the rock at the bottom of the lake created father, mother, who then begat brother, sister. Brother, sister is probably the sister you're thinking of. Unless you're referring to the sister that was in the epilogue, which was the original Brigitte. In the prologue, it's Brigitte who is being kidnapped,
Right.
by brother, sister, the soon to be Bricky. So I laid the groundwork there of those kids getting, one of them being kidnapped, but then we find out later that they actually showed up. They were found at the edge of the forest, but it's not Brigitte who was found. It was brother or sister. So, and that's how they infiltrated and got to the camp. And then they got to the camp and then essentially absorbed the actual brother, Nikki. And now the slug thing, the Chthonian, it's actually the creature I used as a model for that. A sort of worm-like formless creature, but then I gave him these shape-shifting abilities and so forth, and then killed the brother, absorbed. So now, brother sister could now become either Nikki or Brigitte. I know it's very sort of convoluted. That's and the characters were never really supposed to know the complete mystery, only get a taste of it.
Right.
All I know is now somebody is their own grandpa.
Yes, kind of. kind of.
Hey, Uncle Dad, can I go out?
Yeah. So it was actually it was the inexperience of Bricky or brother sister accidentally creating the leech zombies by essentially attacking Peter and infusing him with the first sort of poison and making him the hotbed of the origination of the leech zombies without their knowledge that was going to happen.
Right.
Father, mother, as you recall, told brother, sister that something like that could happen,
Yep.
but they never took it seriously because they're teenager. They're like, they didn't really, I mean, in
listens to their
Chthonian
parents? Like,
terms,
come on.
they were a
Right.
teenager. So
Yeah.
they were emotionally stunted, which is why all the rest of that happened. It's really just like an after school special, the whole damn thing.
Yeah. So which kid had to change their bathing suit?
Yeah, all of them. Well, I mean, if you're changing into one person to another, that's sort of like changing your bathing suit.
Yeah.
One
piece, two
Flesh
piece.
bathing suit.
and so the last part of your question is, did the investigators leave a shambling slug spewing horror to its own devices? We don't know that yet.
Right.
I will say the epilogue that I'm going to be releasing next Tuesday may answer a little tinge of that, but I don't want to give anything away.
Don't do it.
J17 Slug Zombie Apocalypse. You heard it here
Zombie.
first.
Yeah. So, okay. So I hope that answers your questions. Your mother. Brian, do you got a question
Thanks,
for me?
Mom.
Thanks,
I
Mom.
do. And Matt used it, so I wrote another one.
Mhm.
It seemed like a very short time frame for the scenario.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Literally, what, 2 days?
Yeah,
2?
essentially.
Was that on
2 or 3.
purpose to push us in and keep us moving, or what?
Yeah, I don't think so. Well, I knew that there were certain things that needed to transpire, and it was up to you guys whether or not how quickly that would have evolved.
Okay.
So, well, I think once we found out that Peter was dead,
Yeah.
not just sick in the sick cabinet,
Yep.
or the sick cabin rather, that.
Not feeling well? To the sick cabinet.
To the sick
Don't
cabinet
come out
to
and
you with
feel
you.
better.
I had to figure out, like, okay, well, Lem needs to get back at a certain point,
Yeah.
right? It wouldn't make sense for him to be gone for a long, long time. So I had to work out
Right.
all the details. What did his journey entail?
Right.
And how soon or how late could I forestall him from getting back? And what were those roadblocks? So I built this whole backstory as to what happened with Lem while you guys were stuck at the at the camp. And so then I said, well, the earliest he could probably get there, or the latest I could make him get there, is probably early in the morning on that following day. And so I sort of built it from that, and then you guys experienced the events according to that timeline. And you got to do what you were ever going to do, but within that timeline. And it could have been totally played out completely differently if Lem showed up in the morning and you guys had only gotten so far in the mystery.
Okay.
Then,
I was wondering, because if Diego hadn't gotten lost,
right.
You know what I mean? All
Yes.
of us got lost at some point, and that kind of opened up the story more quickly. I think.
A way, yeah, it split off and
I
gave
didn't get
you
lost. I was taking the scenic route.
Exactly. Yeah, so it could have been. It could have taken a little more time if Lem had come back, and then he would have been part of that. What you guys experienced and helped you, or not helped you.
It's Lem. He would have helped us.
He would have tried. He would have tried. He's a decent guy. So.
Yeah.
He's a grown up. He wouldn't have been able to.
He probably would have been inept. Yeah. I mean, sort of. He did help in case 12.
He seemed to believe some stuff more than other adults, though.
Right. Yeah. It's young
Kind of
Lem,
guy that has that UFO poster in his cabin that says "I believe."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Matt, do you have a question for Lupine?
I do. It's kind of been touched on a bit already, but between Ben picking up a new relationship and everybody moving through those awkward teenage years with hormones raging, do you feel like what happened at camp is going to alter the way that Rosa sees Ben? Is that going to change your relationship in any meaningful way?
Um, at
It's a tough one.
she's gonna try not to because Ben is still the only person who went through that first the fungus thing. But I mean, it depends on how much time she sort of gets from Ben. That's a really hard one to answer without like playing the next scenario.
I was gonna say you
because
won't know until
Yeah. Right now she has no plans to treat him any differently. But
cheeks.
she is gonna I guess see what happens. If he like decides to completely ghost her, she'll be
Yeah,
like,
I would say
fuck you too.
it could be Ben's fault if he pulls back.
Yeah.
So.
I mean,
I
and
said back.
Oh,
because Lindsay's so useless that clearly it has to be Ben doing something.
Oh, clearly.
fuck Lindsay. All right, Lupine, do you have a question
We hate
for
Lindsay too.
Brian?
I do.
What is it?
Brian? It's sort of
Mr. Boxer.
okay. We're sort of doing the whole like, do we believe in adults aptitude sort of thing? And so my question is along those lines, and I want to ask, after the last investigation, I sort of changed the way that Rosa saw adults, but like I want to know how Ben might have considered adults differently, and then also just how it might have changed his actions if he like Rosa was totally like, okay, we're the only ones who are going to help us. And is that sort of how you played Ben?
I actually did. I that's why I had such attitude with the camp counselor, Tammy.
Tammy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just because I knew why even bother trying.
Yeah.
Fuck Tammy.
But no, I don't think so.
All
But
my homies hate Tammy.
but seeing that Lem believed us and actually tried to hit at the best he could,
Yeah.
like shelter us and get us out of there.
Yeah.
That kind of sparked a little bit of trust in adults for me. That put me on a little bit different path, because up until then nobody has even entertained anything that we've said.
Yeah. Nobody's even tried
Well,
except
one
maybe
other
the
person, the
ranger or whatever.
herbologist. What was his name from last
Or-
scenario?
Yeah, the guy who gave us the
the park
antifungal.
ranger?
Park ranger?
No.
Oh,
no,
No,
the herbologist guy.
Yeah, the guy. Oh, yeah, the
Doctor-
old dude.
Yeah, the doctor guy.
dermatologist or
He was the
something.
only other one, and then all of a sudden it was all crap downhill from there.
Yeah.
So I know, yeah. So
Well,
Lem
crap rolls
brought me
downhill.
back a little bit. Brought Ben
Yeah,
back a little bit.
It
on
sort
that
of
one.
felt a little bit like Lem would actually like, if we explained it to him, he'd actually
He'd listen.
to us.
He'd listen.
Yeah.
And the last person that ever listened to us was actually the herbologist guy that gave us all the
Right.
frescas.
Yeah, because even the park ranger was like,
Right.
no, this is not happening.
Dismissing everything that we said, even
Yeah.
going when we're exploring the cabins. He's like, no,
Yeah.
let's just keep going.
Oh man, you just gotta give him $1.
All right.
Didn't have $1, dude.
Bruh.
Broke.
All right, I have a question for Matt. What do you think Diego's future would have been if he joined Ricky as a kind of Renfield sidekick?
Ooh.
What do you think that would have played out like?
I think he would have never learned that, or it would have been very much a stuck in time moment for him by basically solving his problem with his parents by running away.
Yeah.
He's never going to learn to be better or to get over it or to work through those feelings. And so he's, as long as he lives, going to be stuck as this very angsty, teenage kid who doesn't know how to handle any kind of negative feelings or emotions. And at some point, he'd probably end up running away from them too, because that's all he knows what to do. Whenever he has any kind of uncomfortable situation or he's unhappy, he just runs. And that's probably just who he'd be for the rest of his life, of somebody who never stops anywhere for more than, a couple of days before disappearing into the wind again.
Nice.
Do you think Bricky would have held up their end of the bargain? You seem to have quite a bit of trust there at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, and to Bricky's point, they never made any kind of move that made me think they wouldn't hold up their end of their bargain.
It's true.
Like anytime they answered the questions that I had and they told me the truth. And when I showed them, oh, look at, what's going on.
Yeah.
It went from, I'm angry at you for talking, to, oh my gosh, what have I done? It wasn't, oh, well, this is your fault and you shouldn't have done this kind of thing. So in his eyes,
a lot of humanity.
Yeah. They didn't lie to him. They didn't try and cheat him. They didn't.
Bricky didn't fucking gaslight you.
Yeah.
It's true.
True.
It's true. Yep. Just presented
that little shimmer of humanity at the end was surprising to me as a player. I was like, oh, it's not just a monster trying to take advantage of people to get what they want.
Yeah.
Which is what you usually
when there was
encounter,
that turnaround, I was
yeah.
like,
It was like,
wait,
oh my
what?
God, I don't know anything about these slugs. What do you mean? I was like, huh?
Wait a minute. Not, everything's not black and white, pure evil, or good? What?
It is on Netflix.
This isn't a Disney movie?
Black and white. All right, cool. Looks like our final question from the audience tonight is again from Crocy. Thank you, Crow, for submitting to.
Awesome.
And this is a question for Brian and Lupine. If Brigitte Nikki had approached Ben or Rosa, would they have taken them up on their offer?
Hell no.
Not even a thought.
Really?
I would have probably played it. Ben would have played it to trick Bricky and try to find a weakness. Talk them through trying to find a way to get rid of them.
Yeah, I think the same thing for Rosa. I don't think, because even when Diego seemed to trust Bricky to do what they said they were going to do, Rosa was like, no, they're gonna turn on us.
I can't even.
Yeah. You guys.
Oh my God.
It was interesting.
To make fetch happen.
Fetch.
We're pretty steadfast in our.
I was going to say also, you guys have the background of the mushroom thing, so you have an immediate distrust of. And I sort of created this creature and this situation to play on that because I knew that you guys would be distrustful. So I was hoping that I would be able to sway you with the humanity to sort of reconsider that not everything is evil or good.
Well, I thought it was really interesting that, and I know we didn't necessarily plan for Matt to have an entirely new character.
That's a game.
We didn't plan that? Come on.
I thought it was interesting that we had a new, a little behind the scenes. I thought it was interesting that we had a new person, someone who hadn't had to deal with the fungus stuff.
Yes.
So it was sort of like
blank.
Yeah.
But came in emotionally damaged, like severely fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like us.
Well, that was Diego was a delectable morsel for Bricky to hone in on, and realize that was probably the most opportune person to attempt to sway them to their side and potentially get. So, what's up, Matt?
Creepy crazy.
We
Chris.
have a question in chat
All right.
from I Swing a Bit More.
Nice.
For everyone, it seems like the investigators are running out of people to trust at an early age in the most advanced version of coming of age. How do you think that will affect their growth as teenagers when they get back from camp? How do you think the investigators' families will react knowing their sanctuary was anything but?
Oh, let's all answer at the same time.
I don't know.
I
I don't know.
think that they would actually be it.
Cheesecake.
Cheesecake. Well, I can answer the parent situation, but how do you think though? You guys are. It's way more valid what you guys think. So,
Yeah.
Brian, how do you think your mom is gonna react to? Because this is gonna be relatively public, I think.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, maybe not the
gonna be pretty
details,
pubic.
but
Right.
something
but
bad
something
happened.
bad and a student died.
How do you think
A
your mom's
person
gonna
died.
take that? Yeah.
Pubic?
I think she's going to feel guilty because she pushed to have me go, thinking it would help me mentally with the situation that happened in town.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to be conscious of that because, being the empathetic kid, you want to make sure you know what your mom goes through by herself raising a kid.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make sure that she has it as easy as possible. But I might have a little chip on my shoulder too.
So that'll be your growth, you think?
Yeah.
Second part of
I
his
think
question.
so.
First part.
Yep.
A chip, as in, what does that mean exactly?
Like you ship me away instead of being with me and talking through.
Okay,
things.
so it's going to provide some
Yeah.
friction between you and
Yeah,
your mom.
But maybe mainly on my side and not acknowledging it because I don't have the maturity level to know why I feel that way.
Right. You're going to be offish,
Yep.
a teenager, essentially.
Use it as a strikeout if I get yelled at for something or, well, you sent me to camp to die.
It's not nom, dude.
I know. Kind of.
Well, kind of.
Nom.
Probably, yeah, like
Unfortunate
condensed
son
nom.
playing on the bus.
Yeah.
Condensed nom. Do you think? So, how do you think that would affect your growth? Let's say over the next 4 years or so.
I probably won't want to go to camp ever again.
True. Yeah, okay. So maybe you're going to try to be more of a homebody.
Homebody, yeah. Stick
Or
to
want
home,
to
maybe.
want to stick
No, I
to
do.
maybe stick to a home base or something like that.
Yeah. Stick
Safety, security.
Withdraw in a little bit.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
know.
How about you, Lupine? What do you think?
I sort of the same thing. Like, how when you ask a teenager, like, how was school? And they're like, fine. I think that's pretty much going to be Rose's, like, how was camp? Fine. So, I think Rosa's going to kind of try to downplay it. But I do think that, before this, I sort of thought about Rosa a little bit, how, before the first scenario and how she thought of her parents and her family. And I think they're pretty tight, and she really respected her parents and stuff. And I think that she is rapidly losing respect for them because they keep doing these things, they keep leaving or they send her away. And so I think that Rosa is I think Rosa is turning into a very distrustful person. And I think y'all are gonna see that. And
All right. How about Diego? I mean, we sort of know a little bit how his parents are going to take it. I mean, they're military.
Yeah.
They're already splitting up.
Yeah. If anything, mom and dad are just gonna be like, yeah. So about this thing that's happened. I mean, no matter what they would have read, it would have very much been okay. But here's what's happening here and now.
Yeah. And I think it seems to me like Diego has of all of these guys, Diego has the best opportunity. I mean, I won't say the best because it's not the best, but the most potential for a wide variety of changes to his his growth as a teenager, because not only is he gone crazy, his sanity is lessened to a great degree, but also, all the shit that happened to him and the emotional, of all the things, he saw the most crazy shit. So I'll be very curious to see how that plays out.
Yeah, you Looney Tunes.
I think
Jeremy's like, I will be very curious.
I am very curious. We'll see.
And honestly, even with the sanity loss, is weird. I don't want to call it almost like a perverse, but a very backwards, twisted kind of way. It was almost a positive thing for him, because yeah, a bunch of people died, but when it came down to the critical moment, he saw more or less someone just like himself and Bricky taking that same decision that he had been struggling with, whether to stay and do the responsible thing and do the right thing, or to run away, and they made the choice to stay, and that it was more important that they do what's right, and that they try and make it work, despite the fact that we both had very dysfunctional families, and we were both initially looking to kind of get away from that instead of really solve it. So it's almost, like I said, in a very weird, twisted way, probably a good thing that it happened to him when it did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think the whole brother, sister, father, mother dynamic, when they approached you to potentially kill father, mother, that is like the extreme of what your microcosm of a human relationship would be. Like, kill your parents for, and then what's the opposite end of that? And I think that probably gave Diego some perspective. Yeah. So hopefully I swing a bit more that answers your question.
Yay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep,
Thank you.
appreciate that. Okay, so we are down to the last couple questions here. Brian, do you have a question for Matt?
I do. Do you want to hear it?
No.
Thank you.
Does it involve taking your clothes off and putting your swimsuit
Matt's
on?
clothes off? All right, well, watch go.
Oh.
Wow.
Matt, take your clothes off. Brian, put your swimsuit on.
I already have it on. I've never taken it off
Dear
since that day.
Penthouse Forum.
They're really tight. Okay, Matt. After running into trouble with the last two characters that you've had, have you, as a player, examined your play style, and do you plan on making any changes or sticking with the character that's on the sheet? I already know the answer.
Weird stuff happens. It makes the story a lot more interesting than going around and. I mean, no offense to people that are, hardcore min-max. What's the best I can possibly do? Best way I can make this. If that's how you like to play games, cool. I like to just kind of ride and see what happens. And
ride or die, baby.
Yeah, I feel like the weird things that happen to Diego just make him a more interesting character in the end.
Thank you, Crow.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Crow.
Yes, Crow, I am planning to get good.
We talked about this at breakfast, so I had to ask the question.
Oh, boy. Nice. All right, Matt, do you got a question for Brian? Time to turn the tables.
Don't do it.
About that swimsuit.
Yeah, tell us more about that.
I'll show you. And my OnlyFans.
So at the start of this scenario, Diego came in having a little bit of a connection to Rosa, considering they're cousins, but Ben had zero frame of reference, zero understanding for who Diego was as a kid, as a person, as a personality. What was Ben's thoughts or perspective on Diego at the beginning, and how did going through this whole thing with the summer camp change that perspective?
At the beginning, I thought you were a bully. But a bully that was being a bully on purpose to hide something else. By the end of it, I realized that that Diego was a strong person that just had a lot of crap thrown at them. And they were trying to figure it all out all at the same time in this horrible scenario. And I kind of admired that Diego held it together enough with everything that we saw and everything that was happening to come out as a leader. So I'd say that the start was not great. But by the end, I definitely had the respect there, and I think that Ben would look up to him almost.
Ooh,
As
nice.
a something to shoot towards, to be a leader, for sure, and to have that conviction to stand up for what you believe in.
All right. Nice. Nicely done. Lupin, do you have a question for me?
I do.
What is?
So,
About that swimsuit.
About Brian's swimsuit.
yeah.
Oh.
So the whole antagonism between father, mother, and Bricky, did you always have that in mind? Or did something we do sort of facilitate that? Where, like, did you write the scenario with the idea, okay, Bricky's gonna, or, you know, brother, sister, or whatever is gonna want to be free of father, mother, and like, yeah, I don't know. But like, was that sort of your end goal, or did you see that we did something and say, what the fuck are they doing?
One word
Yeah.
answer, please.
Yeah, I believe that I conceived of it initially as I don't think I conceived of it as, hey, let's go kill father mother. I don't think that was actually in the cards initially. I knew that these creatures were out there, and I think you're absolutely onto something. I believe it was the concept of Diego's parents going through the thing. I thought he might be an easy target for something like that. And what's the easiest way to get to him is a parent-child dynamic. And although I did not target him, his character, as like, hey, you're going to be the one who wants to kill this thing. But I needed some sort of in, right? So I needed some sort of way to latch in. And I thought that maybe emotionally, if this thing was a teenager, the brother sister was a teenager and acting like a teenager, despite it's a really old worm that can shapeshift, then it would have an analog to Diego's experience, and that might be an easy in. But I knew that I wanted to have some sort of loggerheads between brother, sister, and father, mother. I guess I didn't know until maybe episode 2 or 3 that it would be this plot to kill father, mother.
Okay.
And then I started, because as you know, I write as I go along, depending on, and you guys, your actions influence me, whether or not it's completely conscious changes to the storyline. I sort of absorb what you've done, and as I review what we did, like tonight, then tomorrow when I start writing, then I would just factor some of that stuff in and see where it took it. And honestly, it could have been any one of you guys. It wasn't just Diego. I just said, here's the situation, and one of these guys hopefully will be approached, and we'll see what happens. And Diego just sort of played along with it. So I was like, this is working out
Marching
well.
into the woods.
And so then that spiraled off into its own little thing where he gets to see the ghost of his father, like in the woods and all that stuff. So the madness, and so it all just sort of,
And it turns out, from what you asked earlier,
Yeah.
If you'd approach Rosa or Ben.
It could have been a whole different thing. Yeah.
Totally different scenario.
Yeah. Ben might have just played along for playing along. And I got that feeling from Diego that Diego might be just playing along a bit, at least initially. But
realizing how dangerous it was. Yeah.
His own tenuous grasp on reality and sanity probably fueled a lot of his decision making beyond that point. So I think
it was fun. That was a fun scenario.
Yeah, it's weird. I have the framework, but I don't have the particulars, and you guys fill in those gaps for me to help me connect the things that I want to do. So that's how it works.
What else can I say? But you're welcome.
Yes, exactly.
What do you want to do?
Thank you. All right. Final question for tonight, guys, is from me to Brian.
Oh,
yes.
Ben's psychic connection to Father Mother boosted your Cthulhu mythos skill. How do you suppose that will influence his outlook on practical magic now that he's aware that there are perhaps more mysterious forces in the universe? Because the mushroom thing was kind of natural, right? Sort of weird, but natural. But now that you have this glimpse of something bigger, how do you think he's going to view practical magic, like card playing? You know.
Well, here's, and I've actually thought about this over re-listening to the releases of the podcast, like proofing it and stuff. I think that Ben realizing that there's something real out there that can be attained is going to try to incorporate that, learn as much as he can, but incorporate that into the tricks of a magician, but make them beyond belief to most people that witness the tricks from a magician.
Would they be insane?
Lord of Illusions.
Yes, I'm going to go to Vegas.
Maybe mind freaks.
Mind freaks.
Ben's going total Clive Barker, baby.
Yeah. I started dressing in goth and just black eye makeup.
Change his name to Chris Angel.
You want my homework? Here it is.
All right, guys. That is it for the normal questions, but I wanted to ask, did you guys pick up any Easter eggs that you can talk about?
I don't celebrate Easter.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I forgot about that.
I love eggs, though.
Any references or things that you picked up?
I'm not good at that stuff.
Okay, fair.
Picking up.
I wonder if anybody in the chat picked up anything. Okay, I'll just go through a few of the Easter eggs that I remembered. And actually, I went through like each of the things. I was like, what? Because as I'm writing it, I plug in jokes, but I sometimes don't consciously do that. Yeah. All the episode titles, according to Crow, were creatures from various mythologies. And that's true. That's actually one of my points here.
Go look at all the episode titles.
They are actually the titles, almost all the titles, reference bloodsuckers. Whether it is in mythology or in other cultures. So, Penanglin is one. But so yeah, go back and look at the titles of these, and you'll see that almost all of them are bloodsuckers. Don't
forget to Google them.
Yeah, it's Google. Well, trust me, that's where I started from. I was like, Wikipedia. In the prologue, if you listen to that, Tale of the Pup was an actual Los Angeles hot dog stand. Might actually still be. I believe they closed down for a bit and might be being revamped, but I did mention that just as a little historical placement. Counselor Lem, obviously, is young Lemworth Dortmunderson from Case 12, Color of Lightning. Way back when, I wanted to bring back a character who I thought would be fun to play.
I love Lem.
Lem is great.
And
Petition to bring Lem to high school with us.
Yeah.
What if Lem is the new school counselor?
Oh yeah, it could be. Yeah, to be honest.
Lem now runs the cafeteria and is the cafeteria lady.
And the principal.
He teaches basket weaving.
Yeah.
He teaches underwater basket weaving.
Yes.
Tammy's back to life, but she's renamed Tanny.
Tammy.
She's really orange for some reason.
Yeah, that's so strange. Tanny. Joseph is obviously a reference to Jason in Friday the 13th,
Yes.
but also 1980's The Changeling with George C. Scott.
Oh.
The spoilers for the 1980 movie with George C. Scott, but Joseph is the changeling, the adopted son. Actually, he's the original son who the father kills and then hides the corpse in the sort of attic or cellar, and is then brought. He goes abroad and adopts another kid to take his place. So, but that's the name of the kid, Joseph, who has a psychic connection with George C. Scott. So, spoiler alert. Camp Mulholland was established the same date as Camp Crystal Lake. So I brought that
together.
Nikki Brigitte is somewhat informed by Stephen King's Sleepwalkers. I wanted something that could change shape, but also be, leeches and worms are hermaphroditic, so they can fuck themselves. So I wanted something that could be both sexes.
It's like hashtag life goals.
Exactly. Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself.
So I thought Sleepwalkers was a good analog for that, without the incest.
Yeah.
The leech zombies are obviously a nod to Night of the Creeps.
Night of the Creeps. Yep.
One of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Thrill me.
I thought it was Princess Mononoke.
Really?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, there was that too. The leech-eating fish is an oblique reference to the dolphins in Jaws 3.
Huh.
So at the end of Jaws 3, it's the dolphins who save the day and save the divers. And I thought, that might be fun.
Yeah.
The fireworks solution to the basically getting their attention at the end there.
Yeah.
Is a reference to Stephen King's Silver Bullet, where Corey, well, it's actually a graphic novel before it's a movie, but
Don't
in the
ruin
movie,
it.
Corey Haim fights off the werewolf with a firework. So,
Who's the priest? Haha, spoilers.
same guy from People Under the Stairs,
Oh, yeah.
Daddy from People
Yep.
Under the Stairs.
Yep.
Daddy.
Stepfather 3, I think he was in too.
Oh, I don't think so. No, they had a different guy there. Different dude.
Oh.
Yep. All right. Okay. So, guys, thank you for participating in the Q&A wrap-up for Case 16. We would like to thank you for watching, listening, and sticking with us. We have big plans. One of the big plans, I can tell you right now, is that Case 17 live streams are going to be moving to Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern, scheduled to begin January 21st. So we've decided to go a little bit earlier, so we're a little more alert and can focus a bit more. Sunday nights seem to work out well for our work schedules, so we're actually
me yawning.
we're very excited about this. So.
I'm always okay doing things at 9 o'clock.
I know. So some of us are younger than other folks, and maybe don't have to get up quite so early as other folks. So hopefully this will work out.
Man.
Exactly. Well, hopefully this will work out for everybody. So hopefully Sunday nights too would be a great time for you to watch us do our thing.
Plus, it means when we promo new episodes, we can now go Sunday.
Yo.
Yep. Yo. All right, guys. That's it for this episode of the Lovecraft Tapes. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe on whatever podcast platform you prefer. If you like what you hear, please leave us a review. Meanwhile, visit lovecrafttapes.com for up-to-date information about our podcast and subscribe to our live streams at twitch.tv/lovecrafttapes or youtube.com/lovecrafttapes. You can chat with me in real time at discord.lovecrafttapes.com.
And if anybody wants to hitch a ride on my Segway to Hell, now with complimentary ho-hos, you can book your spot by finding me on either Mastodon or Blue Sky at The Real Weird Kid.
And if anyone would like to join my goat lovers club,
Um,
they're all deflated.
Phrasing?
I love goats
for reasons.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. My
Yeah.
lawyer was saying,
Come leave me a note on my linktree/Lupin Vendetta, all one word. And
If anybody
uh,
wants to hear
URL.
more about my swimsuit area, put swimsuit area and tag me in Discord.Lovecraft Tapes, and I will give it a thumbs up.
I want to know.
yeah, we're gonna be the first ones to do that.
You
I'm gonna do it
will.
right now.
All right. Until next time, roll for. I feel a presence. Oh God. It's
Santa.
K17.
Oh.
Seance 9. Coming soon to a theater near you.
Thank you, Rob.
All right, guys, that's it.
Attention.
Appreciate you sticking around. We will see you
Thanks for being here.
in a little while.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.